Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda. Do you ever hear the phrase, the eye of the storm? The eye of the storm is the very center point of a powerful storm, such as a hurricane. Now, we don't get many hurricanes, of course, in Ireland, but I do have a personal experience of actually finding myself right in the eye of a real live hurricane. What happened was myself and a colleague many years ago travelled over to the United States to attend a conference that we'd been invited to, and it was taking place in Orlando. So we flew out to the United States, and you know what, this was before the days of widespread internet. So we really, it wasn't like you're checking the headlines and getting weather updates and everything else, you know. So we went to Dublin Airport, we got our flights, we made our transfers, everything else, and we landed into Florida. And it was like really bad weather. And then when we start checking up about where the conference is going to be held, we phone up and we're told that the conference had been cancelled because there was a hurricane due. And they're saying, did you not know about the hurricane? Why did you fly over? Did you not see it on the news? It's been on the news every few hours. There's going to be a hurricane. Well, no, we hadn't seen it on the news because it hadn't been on the news in Ireland, even if it had been on the news in the United States. And so we were now in Florida when a hurricane was hitting, and basically the conference was cancelled, the accommodation that went with the conference was cancelled, and I had a friend over in Tampa, Florida. So we drove over Interstate 4 from Orlando to Tampa, to my friend's house, and we said, David, can we stay with you? We're like here in Florida during a hurricane and we've nowhere to go. And he very graciously said yes. So I remember us staying in his house and hunkering down in his house, and that storm hit. And it was some hurricane, I tell you. The violence of that storm, you know, we felt like that entire house was going to come down around our ears. And then as the storm was just building up to a peak, suddenly it just stopped. The wind stopped and the sun began to shine. And I'm like, oh, well, thank goodness it's over, because the power had been knocked out and everything else. And we were pretty hungry. And we said, maybe we should take the car out and go and see if we can find somewhere that's still got power, get a pizza or something like that. And my friend David said to me, no chance. He said, the storm's not over. And I said, but look at it. It's still outside. The sun's shining. It's grand. He said, no, we're in the center of the storm. He said, the eye of the storm, as the storm rotates, a hurricane rotates like in a circle. He said, the eye of the storm is a place of perfect stillness. And I couldn't believe it. But sure enough, about 10 minutes' time, that storm started up again, just as bad as before, and the other half of the storm passed over the house where we were. Well, eventually we were able to get out. The house didn't get blown away. We were able to go and get our pizza. We didn't die of hunger. It all worked out grand in the end. But I still remember the time I travelled all the way to the United States for a conference that never took place. Seemed like a colossal waste of time. But actually it wasn't a waste of time, because I learned that day what it meant to be in the eye of the storm. I'd always thought the eye of the storm meant where the storm was the worst, that you were really clinging on for grim life. But I realized that the eye of the storm is actually a place of peace and quietness in the middle of, right in the very center of a powerful storm. And I've learned that no matter what storm comes against me in my life, Jesus is the eye of the storm. And that when I'm at the center of it, it seems like everything's getting blown away and falling apart, I can find that place of rest, and I can find that peace with Jesus. And it's still, and it's calm, and there's rest for my soul right in the middle of the storm. And I want to encourage you today, if you are going through a storm, if you feel like everything's in danger of being blown away in your life, I want to encourage you, find Jesus right in the center of the storm. And just like I did that day, sat in that house in Tampa, Florida, you will find that you can actually enjoy the peace and the presence of Jesus Christ right in the center of your storm. May God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.